Business process owners play a crucial role in managing processes to drive business growth. However, simply adding resources like more sales reps to boost revenue often backfires. The increased resource costs can consume all the extra revenue, leaving no impact on profits. That's precisely why we integrated business process automation into the business-made Agile customer platform. Robotic process automation, or RPA, is the core intelligence that powers the customer platform, enabling businesses to automatically execute tasks, communications, and workflows based on predefined triggers and conditions. It's about setting up processes once and having the system handle them consistently and efficiently in the background, without constant manual intervention. Hello, my name is Jorma. I'm the founder and managing director of Business Made Agile Company Limited. In this video, I will show you how to sign into your account and then how to navigate on the automation hub. All right, let's sign in. You need your email address and password to sign in, or if you have a Google account like I do, then you can sign in with Google. This takes a few seconds because Google wants to verify your Google account and your email address. And then while we are waiting, Google is updating or loading the fresh data so that when we eventually land on the dashboard inside the customer platform, all the data that we will see is in real time. And now we are landing on the dashboard, but actually we want to go to automation. So just click on the automation and then we will land on the workflows view, workflow list. And here we can create workflows. We can also create folders to keep us organized. And we can also create new smart lists, which are the target audience for the workflows. And then we have also global workflow settings. Perhaps we will first look at the global workflow settings. And here we have the first one is notification. So if we turn this on, then by default, workflow error notifications are sent to all admin users via email. But you can add other email addresses to be notified here. So by default, error notifications will go always to admin users, but you could add additional users here. So if you don't have anyone, then you can just leave it off. And then pause workflow, temporarily pause selected workflows, putting them into draft state during a specified time period. We don't have any published workflows for active workflows, so that's why we can't see anything here. And so we cannot pause them. We would have to first publish the workflows so that they are in active mode. That was quite simple. So let's go back to the workflows list. Here we have one workflow created or recipe as it's called here. And it's in a draft status. Of course, it's a new workflow, so there's no one enrolled. And we can then continue editing it. We can edit, we can rename it. We can open it in a new tab if we want to. And then we can publish the workflow when we are done with editing. And we can also move it from one folder to another. So we could have, for example, a draft folder where all our draft recipes are. And then when we are done, completed the editing, we could move them to the other folders which are published and in active mode. You can also create new workflows by duplicating them. Copy pasting means that if the workflow is very similar, then you can copy it and then just change the content, like the emails that you are sending or the trigger that you want to use. You can also delete the workflow. But let's edit this workflow. And for your information, this workflow was created based on a template, so I haven't changed anything here. So this is one of the templates called email drip sequence. And here there is no trigger, so you can select a trigger which you would use. And one trigger could be, for example, that somebody books an appointment with you or your staff. And clicking on the book appointment link would be the trigger for this email sequence. And this could be an email sequence reminding of the contact person of the upcoming appointment that the person has booked. And this would be quite general type of email. So the email content would be such that you could use this same drip sequence for all the appointments that any of your contacts ever makes. So first email, there is no email yet, so you would have to add emails here. You click on the email and then you would give it a name and then fill out the form, and you can select the email template over here. If you don't want to use a template, then you can also directly write the message here. And you can also add an attachment, so you could send a document with the first email, for example, giving some kind of instructions to the meeting venue if it's a physical in-person meeting. And then you can also test, send a test email to yourself so that you see how it looks like. And here you can also publish the whole workflow, but we have to add all the emails first. And then after we have sent the first email to the contact, we wait for 1 day. Of course, we can decide to wait for a longer time. This is the form that you fill out. Here you can change how many days you wait. Then we have a check point. So this is a condition. We want to check, did the contact person who booked the appointment, did they open the first email? And then we have conditions, yes, no, and finally no, none branch when no condition is met. And then there are 3 options. So first email was opened, or it was not opened, or none of the conditions are met. So if we follow the yes path, so the first email was opened, then we wait 1 day, then we send a second email. Then we wait again another day, and then we check if the second email was opened. And if yes, then we wait 1 day again, and then we send a third email and wait for 1 day, and then we check if the third email was opened. And then again, yes, the third email was opened, wait another day, and then send an email number 4. And then the end of the workflow. So this would be the successful case that the contact person opens every email we send, 4 emails in this case. But then if one of the emails is not opened when we check, then there are other actions that could be taken. And this is one way of sending emails, but you could also add additional actions here. So for example, you would be able to add an action in between. And there are many options that you could say. For example, you could create a contact, you could find a contact, update contact field, add contact tag. If this is a special type of meeting, for example, if this would be the very first contact call, you could add a contact tag that would tag the contact as contact call, first contact call booked. And that would be then create a group of people who have booked a contact call, and then you could create other workflows based on that information. Or you could remove contact tag, of course, then assign this person to a user, or remove assigned user. And then many other actions, as you can see. And then communications, many options. What you can see, you can also send WhatsApp messages, Instagram, Facebook, all your communication channels you could use here to send reminders to make sure that the contact person receives the information either by email, by SMS, by Facebook, by Instagram, by WhatsApp. So that's everything is possible. And then also internal actions. Also, you can modify opportunities. You can create an opportunity. So if somebody books a discovery call, and you know that, okay, it's highly likely that this customer, not the customer, but lead is interested in your services, then you could create an opportunity, or you could remove an opportunity, and then do other things here. Also, payments, marketing, you could add to Google Ads or Google Analytics. So you can see that the options are endless almost. Yeah, there are. So this is something, learning by doing is the only way to get most of it. All right, and if we then move on to settings after we have done, we have some options here. For example, allow re-entry. So if the same person books another meeting or appointment, do we allow them to re-enter the same workflow? If this workflow would be a general meeting or appointment reminder email drip campaign, then we would allow them. But if this would be more like a one-time specific drip campaign that we want to send to the person, like a first-time welcome to our network, you would only want to send it once. So then the contact person would not be allowed to re-enter this workflow. And then communication. If you are working with contact persons on several continents, so if you are based in Asia and your contact is in Americas, then you might want to use the contact time zone instead of your own account time zone. And then you could also set a specific time when you allow sending emails or SMS messages or others. So you would want to limit the weekdays, so no messages on Mondays and Fridays, and then start time only after 9 a.m. and latest message before 4 p.m. Then you can also set the sender details, from who and from which email address. So if you want to send it from your own, then of course your own name here and your own email address. But if you want to send it in a company's name, then you would add the name of your company, for example, and then use a company email as the email address. And then if you are using SMS messages and you have connected your telephone number to the platform, then you could select one of the phone numbers where you send the SMS message from. Okay, and then we have two other tab folders: enrollment history. Well, we don't have any enrollments at all because we are just creating our first workflow and it's not published yet. And then execution logs will log everything that has been happening here. So every time somebody books an appointment, and then the workflow triggers and starts sending emails. So this would be the execution log. So you can always find what was done automatically by the workflows. Okay, let's see. Okay, well, we'll just confirm and we will come back here. So this workflow will remain in draft status. But what I will do is now I'll create draft folder. Let's call it draft workflows. So I want to keep all the draft workflows in one folder so it's easy for me to come back here and continue editing them. So I would here be able to edit the workflow as we just did. We could rename the workflow, so this name here could be renamed. We can open this in a new tab and continue editing in a new tab. Then we can also publish if we are done editing, and then we can move to a folder, and that's exactly what we want to do. And we only have this one folder, so we'll move it there. And now the workflow is in the draft workflows folder. And now we are back on home. So this way you can be organized with your workflows and also know exactly which ones are still in draft mode and which are in published. Of course, you can see from every workflow, you can see that it's in draft status, but maybe it's better to keep them in their own folder if you have lots of workflows. And then depending on what they are related to, it's up to you how to organize your workflows. But that's it for now. We are just scratching the surface of workflows. So what I will do is record a few other videos and try to create most typical workflows for you so you get an idea how they work, and also select different trigger links and different actions. Options are almost endless, so you can automate basically everything that you can. And you can also add manual actions in the workflows. So the workflows would create a task or a to do or something to your staff to do, and then the workflow would only continue after the manual action has been executed. This would create, for example, for salespersons, a sequence where the system would automatically send maybe 2 emails and then would request your staff member or sales rep or service rep to call or send an SMS manually to the contact. And then the workflow would continue with few automated steps, and then again ask your staff members to call or send an SMS at a work WhatsApp message, whatever is possible. So it can be like a hybrid version of automated and manual actions. But the ones that are fully automated, of course, they are working in the background 24/7 according to the settings that you have selected. All right, that's it for now. I thank you for your time. I'll just sign out, and then I wish you all the best and hope to see you in the next video.